I'm CrystalFissure here, and welcome back to another video, another discussion video. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while, but I've been talking about it a lot in real life actually. Just, when we're going on walks like me and Nintendo 64, just sort of, talking about like games and I guess the Spyro and Crash series, because, naturally it always comes up, we're creatures of habit. And I was thinking about Microsoft, Xbox, and I guess the lack of kart races that are a part of their portfolio, I guess. To me, I always kind of associate Microsoft more with your Forza Motorsports and stuff like that, and Forza Horizon, which are more traditional, and I guess arcade style racing games, simulators, I guess kind of covering both. And it made me think about Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, which was an immensely popular game, a fantastic game actually, that has now sort of become forgotten. And sort of is forgotten a little bit like how Crash Team Rumble has become forgotten in just a very, very short amount of time. At least you could make the argument that, with the was it 7 Grand Prix that we got? The 7 Grand Prix that we got with Nitro-Fueled were cool, but then once that happened, once we got the 7, that was it. Beanox was shipped off effectively to go and work on, I think it was either COD Warzone, or I feel like some people were doing COD, some people were doing like Diablo, some people were doing, what's that other one, Destiny, or something like that. And so anyway, long story short, we're talking with Nintendo 64, and I was thinking about what is a way to bring back Nitro-Fueled in a way that will get people playing it again, much like Mario Kart Deluxe or 8 Deluxe. So, Mario Kart Deluxe, in my opinion, when you had Nitro-Fueled and you had Deluxe, to me, if you look at the extensive character roster, the skins, the customization, honestly, Nitro-Fueled had Mario Kart 8 beat. It did. Firstly, Mario Kart 8 was already on the Wii U, so it was sort of an older game that then was ported to a newer console, upgraded, extra things, hence the Deluxe term. But if you really compare it 1-to-1, I think that Nitro-Fueled was the better game. Now, Nitro-Fueled slows down, actively stops really, let's just put it that way. And all of a sudden, we have a new booster, was it called like the Booster Pack DLC, Booster DLC, something like that, that is going to be taking over the game for the next however many years. I believe there were 6 waves of this, right? 6 waves. Now, I'm doing an LP of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now on my YouTube channel, and I've been playing it and everything like that. New parts coming soon, by the way. And I've been playing it, and the new tracks are phenomenal, but they follow a formula. If you sort of figure out the pattern, where it's a mix of new tracks and existing tracks. So they have a lot to draw upon. So without further ado, I'm gonna break down how I would bring back Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, mixture of free and pay, in order to breathe some new life, give Microsoft and Xbox a game. I know it would be, I guess, multi-platform, but hear me out. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the free option. So this would be something that would be free for everyone. I believe that there should be some kind of course wave thing where maybe you pay like a one-time thing and you get it over the next 6 waves or something like that. But this would be something that would just be a free upgrade for everyone. So first things first, 60 FPS. That's been wanted from the beginning. It should be available. It should have been available on PS5, Xbox One. It's just a no-brainer to me. It already is in 4K. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to get 60 FPS. You can already play the game in 60 FPS on the Switch emulators, which is effectively the only way of doing that, and that's just not good enough. So there should have been a 60 FPS patch. So the first thing is you get a 60 FPS patch. The other thing that you would get is the game would come to PC. Now you could say, oh, that means people can mod and glitch and get all the characters. Yes, correct. You unlock everything. You give everyone everything that is already out, or you make it severely reduced with the coins. Right? You can bring back the coins. You can have microtransactions. That's fine. I'm not gonna stop them from being able to make money from the game. Even though I'm not a massive fan of microtransactions, I understand that that's what sort of is gonna go into a modern game now. That's just the reality of it. Now, here's the big thing. This is the big welcome back we're ready to go. We're ready to run into the next, next phase of this game, much like Mario Kart did. You add the C and K story and campaign. One, because it's, okay, you've got to do the home world, you've got to do the cutscenes. Probably a majority of the money now that would come down to having to program these cutscenes and making them look nice, because they look fantastic in the 6th generation era of gaming, right? You want to level them up and have them be nice and stylized. I think that Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled already looks good. You just do it in that style. But if you wanted like hyper stylized a little bit like it was in the original Nitro Kart, you can. Now, you don't have to bring back the anti-gravity, you don't have to actually do that, you can pretty much do it the same, you can repurpose the world, that's absolutely fine. But I think that if you added this campaign as like a make good or a welcome back, I think that you instantly get a big player base come back and want to play this game. Now the next thing is the new characters that I would add. So again, we're going to assume that this is going to be 6 waves. Okay, let's just assume it will be 6 waves. I think that that's a good idea. You do 6 waves, you do maybe once every 3 months, so you got 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, basically, over the next 18 months, I think that's a good amount of time, right? It gives them time to make things, adjust things. And I guess that's the thing, is that where a lot of the content would come through is this is again how I would choose to market it. I would almost market this as a Spyro takeover. Why would I do that? Because there is simply more potential for tracks. Now, you could make it, you could have these cups, you could have it, all kind of figured out, but I will talk about that in a minute. Instead, we'll talk about some of the characters that I would add to this game, and I'd have, different ones per wave. So, the first thing I would do, here are the Spyro characters that I would add over the 6 waves. I would have Ripto, the Sorceress, Allura, Bianca, the Professor, a Dragon Elder type, Sheila, Sergeant Bird, Bentley, Agent 9, Crush, and Gold. Now, I think that's 12. I hope it's 12. Hopefully not 11. There are 12 new characters. So in each wave, we would have really 2 new characters. The first one would be, Ripto and Allura, Sorceress and Bianca, Professor and a Dragon Elder, Sheila, Sergeant Bird, Bentley, Agent 9, Crush, Gold. Right? You sort it out like that. Then with Crash, really there's not many left because they pretty much covered everything. You've got Mega Mix, you've got Baby Cortex, Baby all that, right? You've got all these different characters. You've even got Fasty, Hasty, right? And a character that wasn't even a Crash Bandicoot character. It was like, mischaracterized way back in the day. But there are some left, and here's what I would add. I would add Viscount from Crash Boom Bang, Willy Wonka Cheeks from Crash Tag Team Racing, the Evil Twins from Crash Insanity, Madame Amberly from Crash Insanity, the Bearminator, I think that'd be kind of cool, maybe just a smaller Bearminator, and Mr. Crumb, who is a character from the Crash Bandicoot, was it 99X, I think it is, and remember, it was put in Crash on the Run, may it rest in peace. So I think that would be a really fun idea. Now the other cool thing you could do is that, because there are some Titans references and stuff like that in the game, what I would do is perhaps I would bring some Titans in from Crash with Titans and Crash Minor Mutant, but shrunk down, right? Or have them be obstacles or something like that, but I think that that's a great way of kind of paying tribute to the past, if you will. But the other thing is that what you could do is you could also bring in 6 to 12 Skylanders as well. Because once again, this is something that would appease a certain fan base, a lapsed fan base, but they're still passionate, right? I think that's the funny thing about Skylanders. I'm not a fan of Skylanders, okay? I would not call myself a fan of Skylanders, but you have to acknowledge that especially with that Netflix TV series, there are people that like the game. Or the whole games, or should I say the series as a whole, not the game. I think that's the thing. I almost think that I see more praise for the TV show than I ever did for the games. And I know some of the later games were actually pretty good. Like I heard Imagineers is pretty good, the Supercharged and stuff like that. But I think it was too little too late. They rushed them out too quickly. And I think that people never got time to sort of really anticipate them. Now, then you would have, of course, numerous skins from Crash Team Rumble that would come in. I know that some of them borrowed and changed and stuff like that, but you do something like that. Skins will be something that, they take time. I don't think you have to go crazy on the skins, but I think it would be cool. And of course, new vehicles, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think you have to go crazy. I think for the most part, people want tracks. I think that's what tracks. Now, here are the new levels. I would have 1 to 2 Spyro levels per cup. Now here's some of my ideas. I would have levels about the following. Peacekeepers, I think that's a sort of a Rustland, wasteland kind of style. Beastmakers in a similar vein, kind of like a rough look. Summer Forest and Autumn Plains, I think that's a no-brainer. Tracks that are themed like that, very peaceful vibe. We've already kind of got artisans with the Spyro Speedway, which I didn't particularly like the Spyro level in Nitro-Fueled, but I think there's some definite potential there. Yeah, I know I'm going so generic with the home ones, but I think that that's a good idea. I think it's just, they're very iconic and well-known. You would then have an Evening Lake and Midnight Mountain level, because I just think that Midnight Mountain at night would be very cool. Evening Lake would also be very cool. Then, this is an idea I was talking about with the Nintendo Gem. Zephyr and Breeze Harbor warp. So what you would do is, you'd start in Zephyr and then you'd be warped to Breeze Harbor. And I think that you could do this concept with a lot of the other Spyro 2 levels. For example, you could do this with Aquaria Towers, Sunny Beach. That'd be cool. You start there and then you go underwater through like a ruse tubes type thing. We were talking about different ideas about this actually. There's so many different things you could do with Spyro levels. It's almost as if you could do a Spyro Team Racing. I mean, I'd flat out just do that. But I think that integrating Spyro as part of Crash, on the one hand, you'd have people go, oh, once again, Spyro, helping Crash run his own game. But Spyro 4, I think it is in development. So to me, it's like, well, it'd be cool to have a racing game, but I'd rather a new platform. Then we have a Magma Cone level, an Icy Peak level, a Desert Ruins level, Dreamweavers, and then a Haunted Tower / Lofty Castle. Now, here's where the job for them, for the developers, Beanox, whoever will be working on this theoretically, gets easier, because what I would then do is, and this is your layout, this is your adding Mario Kart tour levels, right, or other games. You add the levels from Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart and Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart 2. Now, those are the 2 mobile games, iPhone games, that came out over a decade ago now. And they were really, really popular in the App Store. Now, I was looking at this before I was actually did the video, and the tracks are pretty simple, right? They're nothing crazy. But we had Yaya Panda added, which, by the way, fun. Here's a question: was Yaya Panda a character in Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart, or were they actually seen before? The answer is they were seen before in a game called Crash Nitro Kart 2. Fun fact. So yeah, I did not know about this game until then, and I realized, oh, okay, Crash Nitro Kart 2 is like an actual thing. But it was like pretty basic. It was on mobile. It was like 2008. But the thing is with this is that what you would do is you would repurpose the levels. You'd make them look a bit nicer. You would maybe even combine some concepts, 1 to 2 from each, and then that leaves 1 new level from scratch. Now, I would do that and I would have it so, the developers basically have 18 months or however long to make 6 new tracks. Now look, if I was being, you've got to, I know this whole thing is like not actually going to happen, so it is just really just a pipe dream thing. But one of the things you could discuss and you could say is that, okay, expecting them to do 2 whole new levels, look, maybe that's too hard. I think they'd be able to do it theoretically, but I think that, you want to give, I understand that it's like, it comes down to the fact that, you want to be reusing assets, and I think that making whole new levels would require a lot of that. Whereas if you're able to use textures from Spyro Reignited Trilogy, textures from Crash 4, stuff like that, textures from Nitro-Fueled even already, you're set, right? Mario Kart 8 does actually look fantastic, like it does look really damn good, but I think that when it comes down to it, there's a little bit of a sense of, the recycling concepts from the other games, but that's the thing, they had so many games, right? I didn't even mention the fact that when it comes to new levels, you could add tracks from Crash Tag Team Racing. I know there was a potential that we thought that might have been happening. And again, not the worst idea, but the levels are fundamentally different to how they play, how Crash Nitro Kart and Crash Team Racing play. So again, you would have to repurpose them. You'd have to make them more slide friendly, more cool, speeding up friendly. It wouldn't really be the same. But again, you could borrow from it, and you probably could get the code. You could spiroscope it and get all that, and that's that. So yes, there's 15 or so minutes just ranting about what I would do. I don't think it's going to happen, and that's the sad thing. Is the reality is that they're not going to do it. They're probably more likely to do another Crash racing game. And look, I'm not against that either, But I think that when you have a game that already has so much, why not just add to it, right? Why not breathe new life into it rather than having to then spend many, many millions having to do it all again, right? You already have an incredible base and you have an incredibly passionate group of fans, which now have no reason to play. Whereas with Mario Kart, it's sold however many 40+ million, I think it is. It's a ridiculous number. And Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled also did really well, and then all of a sudden it stopped. Well, you don't have Activision there to, they're not as much in charge anymore as Microsoft and Xbox are. So to me, it's a no-brainer to level up this game. Share the video, give it a like, let me know what you want to see, let me know what I've missed, because I probably have missed some things, probably not a lot though, because there's actually, if you think about it, I've pretty much covered most characters. Okay, well, Farmer Burns or whatever his name is, some other Twin Sanity characters and stuff like that, different variants of characters, maybe some, Evil Spyro, whatever, that kind of thing, Dark Spyro, Legend of Spyro. But again, Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled is the most, in terms of celebrating the Crash series, it objectively celebrates the Crash series the most in history. It has the most references to other things. It's a massive game. So why not do it? Why not level it up? Let me know what you think, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back with more talking. I want to do some more talking about some other stuff soon, maybe some Spyro. I want to do a video, actually, that reminds me, I want to do a video about what do you want to see for Spyro 4. I want to have a bit more of a discussion about it. Not here's what I know, but more let's talk about it. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, good night, bye-bye.